Alright, hey there, YouTube. Alright, I want to go over something real quick. This is, as many of you guys know, a Spyderco triangle sharpmaker. One of probably the best sharpeners known on the market. Retail for about, sorry I just grabbed the other stones. Retail for about somewhere between the low 40s and the upper 50s. I've seen them for 42 and I've also seen them like 60. So, you know, they're a pretty good range for a good sharpening system, and you get two basic stones. You get a coarse stone, which is this gray stone here, and you get a fine stone, which is this white stone here. In the video they send you on how to use this thing, they say this is a synthetic sapphire, and I believe them in that. But I don't know if they were referring to both, although they said this was much softer, and this will wear. But when they said it would wear, I didn't realize they said it would chip like freaking crazy. Now, let me see, I got a really bad one here I want to show you real quick. I forget what stone it's on. Right there. You might not be able to see it in the camera. Yeah, you can't because this camera is terrible. But up and down this face, because this is the face I use, this angle right here, I use this probably the most. I just gently tap this with like a blade of my knife, like because you go down slowly like this, you know, you go, it's the up and down motion, so you go slowly down it. But when I did that, I turned my knife a little bit and it scraped off the side because I was kind of noob at it. I didn't really, it was like my first like my second time ever doing it with this thing, and I got a chip here and a chip here. You can't really see them because this camera is crap, but you see there that little lighter mark is? I mean, that's a chip out of the stone. If you see any like light marks on this dark stone, there's another one like right there, and another one right at the end here. This stone chipped. This a coarse stone chip. Now it doesn't affect it too much, but when I rub my finger over it, I can definitely feel it. How it will do in the long run, maybe it'll wear out. I don't know, but I mean it's just kind of a pain to deal with, knowing that the stones chip. Like sharpening stone shouldn't chip. Another thing I want to go over real quick, you'd probably definitely be able to see it better on this, or not at all. You can see, oh, you can see it right there, or definitely right there. See all that stuff right there? That's the steel, which builds up in the stone, which I can get that. You can see that those dark spots on this white stone. I can get that, you know, a stone can get, you know, full of steel. That's what sharpening stones do. But this stone I haven't used yet. That's how I got it. Alright, because I only usually restore, because I use softer blade steels anyway. I usually only use the coarse stone. I mean, I just got this thing. You know, I maybe have tapped my knife blade against this maybe a couple times. You know, I really haven't used it, you know. But it's basically full of steel already. Now, I don't know how, like, you know, how much it's supposed to hold, but, like, again, like, I'm going to refer to this instructional video with Sal. They had, you know, he was able to sharpen a bunch of different things. He probably went through 10 or 11 different things with the fine stone, and they washed it at the end. But like this, I've only used a couple times, and it's already filling up with steel. I mean, I have the other side, but you know, only having to use a face like maybe a couple times, like, and this maybe be 20 strokes, you know. And like this part, like on the end here, this is what's in the, you know, in the thing, and it has steel on it. Same thing with on this side. There's steel on this. And that was already there when I got this too, which surprised me. You know, same dealio with this other stone here. The steel builds up like crazy. And I'm not sure, you know, how much steel should be gaining in like whatever, but I mean, it's a crazy amount of like buildup, and I have to wash these things. I had to wash these things within 5 minutes of using it. You know, I had to wash them out with Ajax and a sponge, or, you know, abrasive cleaner. You know, that powdered white cleaner you get for things, and a sponge, and rub it out. and it's clean, and then the moment my knife touches it again, it just builds up the steel right there. And my knives aren't particularly dull. I just wanted to like experiment with the sharpener. I mean, I was using a 154 cm blade on my Recon 1. Yeah, I do have the Recon 1 with the 154 cm blade. It's an older one, I guess. At least that's what I've been told. But, you know, which is a softer steel, I've heard, but it's still, you know, it was still probably close to factory sharp. And this stone, you know, I thought I could just touch up the blade with the fine grit, and it just, you know, built up with steel almost instantly. And I was just kind of disappointed with that. Now, I know I've used Spyderco sharpening stones, not these particular triangles, but like regular sharpening stones, and I had the same problem. The steel builds up like crazy. Now, I don't know if that's how I'm sharpening it, or how, or, you know, what's the deal. But when I see other people using it, I guess I'm doing something wrong, but I don't know if other people are having the same problem as me, where the steel is just building up like crazy. And, you know, I'm going to put these in here. That's the other thing, too, is, like, I'm trying to put this stone in here, and it takes a little bit of maneuvering sometimes to just get these stones in here. I guess you have to get it right, the right angle, but I was hoping it would just kind of snap in. I mean, other than that, I mean, it's a solid hunk of thing. I can just pack this up and, you know, whatever, but, excuse my phone. You know, I can put coarse here, oh, fine, there. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm like, honestly, Spyderco, I'm a guy who I have my Mannix too. I have a Tenacious, I have a Delica 4, and I have Spyderco products, but, and I have been a fan of Spyderco for probably when I first started getting into knives. I mean, my Mannix 2 was my second real knife. Then I got before that I had a Recon 1. Still have it, still to this day. I love my Recon 1. But Spyderco, I mean, I'm honestly disappointed with the quality of the stones in this, because I wasn't expecting my stones to chip. I wasn't expecting my stones, like, you know, I get it if, you know, I really like hit it hard and the stone chip, but I mean, like, I was just doing a gentle, like, straight up and down motion, just like in the video, and I slipped off just a little bit by accident. I pulled maybe a little bit too fast, but not like, you know, hacking at it. I just kind of pulled it a little fast, and I guess that was enough to chip it, which it shouldn't be. That should not be enough to chip a whole stone like that. You know, this is my second sharpening system. I had a Lansky sharpening system before this. Well, not really. It wasn't mine, but I used it. It was a friend's that he let me use when I needed to sharpen, and I loved it. It was fine, but it had oils and stuff, so I thought I'd give the triangle sharpmaker a try. And on my personal scale, I'd review it I'd give it a A for effort. I'd give the stones a 6, and I'd give like the overall construction a 7 or so. But I'd give like the like I wouldn't have used this plastic. I mean, if I do this, I can hear things moving around. I shouldn't have to hear things moving around, because when I have it in my pack, things are moving around. So I mean, it's snug, but it's not what I was, you know, hoping for. I wish I could just throw this in a pack, but I just hear, you know, shaka 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 when I'm hiking with it and stuff. I mean, it's good, but is it? Another thing I got beef with it is when I put my stones here in the back to increase the surface area. Here, I'll show you in a second. I have to take it apart. It takes a considerable amount of force to take this apart, which is good and bad, because I've broken my fingernails a few times. I think I just broke this one here. See where that little divot is? That was me bending my fingernail on the sharpmaker. So when I do this, right, to the surface area, put this in here, and put this in here. You know, this is to, again, to increase the surface area. Look, there's this. These roll in here. You can't really see it, but like this isn't rolling out, but it's doing that. So when I'm sharpening, these are moving around. Plus, these are at different levels. These aren't even like even up. Like, I can feel. You can see that rock in this. So when I'm sharpening, I mean, I have rocking motion, and that's disappointing. In this, I would rather you've just given me a whole other stone to put in the bottom of this than these two. That was just, I mean, that was just bad. I'm sorry. And then I got the same beef with right here. Let me take the guards out. You know, this is supposed to raise the surface area, but it's really not. You're not getting any effect here. He used it in the video to raise the surface area, but going over again with this really carefully, I have the same surface area as if I had it on the bottom. And I'm also having my blades rub up against the top of this, even though they're supposedly higher. So there was that. I mean, the one thing I do like about it is I got the screw holes here. But, I mean, those are kind of a pain to deal with, because if I put this in, right? If I put this in, and I want to do my 40, right? My 40 is right here right now, and this is my 30. You know, usually I'd usually have my left hand here, and I can do the sharpening like this. I mean, because I'm a righty, so if I bolted this in, it's very difficult for my left hand to do this, and I don't have anywhere to put my hand on it. I have no purchase, I guess. Even though it's bolted in, I still like to have that purchase, and I can't have that if I don't have something over here. That's my only other problem with it. Also, this is I hear like this is either multiple pieces, or it can tell that this is multiple pieces, and I feel like I could just like rip this apart if I wanted to. If I put enough force here, because this is multiple pieces, you can see like the seam. There's that, and I feel like I could rip this apart really easily. I feel like in cold weather, if I brought this out, because if I brought this out camping, right, because I'm the type of guy who I would like to have a full sharpening system if I can, not just a stone. Now, I mean, that's my personal preference, because then I know I can get a more exact angle. Granted, I do have a stone with me for quick, like, touch-up, if I needed to. But if I'm camping or something, I'll bring my sharpening system because I know I can. And I don't think I could do that with this one, because I do a lot of cold weather camping. And this is plastic. It feels like it's either ABS or PLA, which doesn't do good in the cold. It doesn't. If this got cold, it would crack. It might not crack, but it becomes very brittle. And if this fully loaded, right, probably weighs a little bit more than a couple pounds. So if this dropped out of my pack, dropped on the ground, on the icy ground, or something like that, I feel like this could break, which is another problem with this. I mean, it's good construction. It's a well thought out design. And that's the other thing I actually want to go to is like the full out design of it. Because I've been going over a lot of little details, but I haven't really gone over the full design. Now, a good thing about the design, right, is you do have the 30 for back beveling, and you have your 40, which is good. And then you also have your 12 for scissors right here, and you got this thing right here. But here's another problem with having this at the bottom, right? You have screw holes to bolt this into a table, right? You have a screw hole here, 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 and here to bolt this into a table. Now, I just want to go over something real quick. If I need to use this for whatever reason, right, I would have to then unscrew and use that. So if you bolt this in, your extra flat surface, that's basically useless anyway because you have the rocking anyway. But if you say it didn't for whatever reason, it didn't, alright, you wouldn't be able to use this flat surface. You just wouldn't be able to. I mean, it's basically useless anyway with the way it is, and like the way this goes down to infinity. Like right here, if you put those together, I feel like if you put any real pressure on this, or if you did anything more than a light stroke, you could knock these right out with no problem. And I have when I was messing around. Oh, here's a really good chip right here. I might be able to see. See where that little thing is right there. A little mark right there. That's a chip. It's a bad chip in it. Yeah, I can rub some of that steel out. I can feel myself rubbing the steel out of this, actually, if you do that hard enough. Or is that the actual stone? Who knows? Because this stone is so soft. I feel like if I went like this, I could just snap it. These things are brittle. I mean, I get that they're hard. They're supposed to be hard to sharpen steel, but this could break very easily. It's chipped on me. It's just a stone. Back to the overall design. So that's good. I mean, you have a good solid lid, a good texture to it, so it won't leave you if you're using it as your purchase. This it's a nice texture to it, but for a Spyderco product, for Spyderco, a company that started making sharpening stones. I think they had the sharpening. Were making sharpening systems before they were making knives. I'm very disappointed. I mean, I could be wrong there, but from what I've heard, Spyderco started out making sharpening systems. Like Sal and his wife used to go to fairs and stuff and sell their sharpening system, the original sharpmaker. That's what I heard, and from what I've seen from this new one, I am just disappointed. The new sharpmaker is not what I was hoping. This is not a I wouldn't call it not quality. I mean, it's certainly usable, but it's just not what I was expecting. I was expecting something like, if I was to start knife making, right? I don't think I could use this for putting my edge on at all. Like, if I was taking a really dull knife, like a knife that I just put a bevel on, and I wanted to, even with like their diamonds, their extra off-market diamond stones that aren't standard with this kit, but diamond stones. Like, I don't think I could use these stones. I don't think I could use this system effectively to really put a good blade. It's great for touching up blades that are already pretty sharp, but recently I dulled my cold steel beyond pretty much repair, and because I use it for everything, because pretty much because that's my go-to knife right now, because my Manix 2, I'm putting new handle scales on, but right now, I'm just using my cold steel as my EDC, so I decided to sharpen it using the sharpmaker system, and I started getting, cracks and chips in the stones over here, and I started getting, steel buildup, Although these brass safety guards, these are quality. I like these. I mean, this is probably the most quality thing. And these get chips in them too if you hit them with your blade. I mean, bad chips. But these are all right, I guess. But I mean, overall, if I was to pay on the higher end of this price range, which I've seen, say, I think around $60, which is the higher end for this, it's just not worth the money. I can go out and buy a Lansky sharpmaker, or not sharpmaker, but a Lansky sharpener system for $25. That comes with everything I would need, like multiple different angle adjustments besides just 30 and 40, multiple different stones, like a whole real kit to sharpen. I'm sure it's bigger, but honestly, like, this could easily have been made out of like another plastic, like this. If this is made out of something that I know would do well in the winter, in the cold, like maybe a more pliable plastic. Like, I can't think of any offhands. Like, I think TRX is one of them. What's the other one? Not PLA, the one right before PLA. Either way, like, this is just, and they have these weird pits like around it. Like, you have pitting in all the plastic on these corners that look like they're designs, but not really. And you can't really see it, but in here there's pits inside the in the thing. I love the Spyderco Sharpmaker, but I don't love it in design. I think it was a great concept. I don't think it was executed very well. Maybe if I got aftermarket stones, maybe that would help. Aftermarket stones, maybe have my friend 3D print the base in like a better plastic, to scan it and 3D print it. Same with the lid. I mean, this feels brittle. I feel like if I squeeze this hard enough, it'll break. It really does. I mean, it's a little bit flexible, but it doesn't have, what I was hoping for what I paid my money for. If I can get, like, if I say it, a Lansky system, which is a lot cheaper, is so much better compared to this. It really is. This is cleaner, I guess, because it doesn't have oil and stuff, but I guess reliability is an issue with this. I guess that's what my goal is. My point is yeah, this pitting in the plastic all along here. You can see that pitting right there. And it's plastic. It's just this I hate that word plastic, because there's other materials that this could have been done for. I would have paid like $80 for this if I knew this came in like a G10 material, which I know is, people are like, oh, it's a knife handle material, but I know that's durable as hell. I know, it's just, I don't know the long-term stability of this. I really don't. If the base was made out of aluminum, that would have been better, or the lid at least. But if I put all the stones in, and I mean, it doesn't really matter what stones go in where, they're both the exact same dimensions. And I put this on top right about here. I'll put that, like, you got all the shifting room in here. Like, like, you could have made these longer, fit that other ½ inch, and it wouldn't have been moving as nearly as much, and you'd have actually even more room to sharpen. So they didn't even utilize all the space here, now that I'm noticing that, actually, which is probably part of the motion problem while I'm shaking this, because you see, hear that snap? That's actually not it snapping, that's just it getting snug. But I don't like that shaking sound, because I feel like when I shake it, I'm just breaking the stones. And this is my backpack, and it's shaking around, up and down, side to side, it falls out. I mean, I can see this breaking so easily. I can just see this breaking. I can see it failing. And that's not something I like to see from Spyderco. I really don't, and that's why making this video is so depressing for me. Seeing that this is a Spyderco product, and it's just not quality. It's really not. I'm sorry to say this, Sal. You let me down. You let a guy who's been buying Spyderco products since he was like 10 years old, and you let me down. I use my Spydercos every day. The only other knives I own is one cold steel, and that's for work because it can take the abuse. And I know if it breaks, it's a lot cheaper than losing a Mannix, or something that costs me money and big and stuff like that. But you let me down. I mean, I have like Delica 4, Enduro 4, Dodo, Paramilitary, Mannix. Yeah, I'm probably missing a bunch of other Spydercos that I've either had at one point, have right now, or have bought for a gift or a friend. I think the 4 I have right now is a Mannix, a Delica, Tenacious, and I think a Paramilitary. It's just, when I'm getting used to that quality, FRN would have been a fantastic, now I'm thinking about your handle materials, FRN would have been a fantastic material to use on this. It would have been more expensive, yes, but it would have been flexible, which is what FRN's known for. I don't think it would fail me. FRN, if you guys don't know, is a material. It's stands for glass fill, or FRN is fiberglass filled nylon, or something like that. And what it is it's just a material. It's very plastic-like, but it can bend and warp, but it'll always go back to its shape, which would be really important for cold weather, like what I use. Even if I just left this out in my shop, in my garage, or in my basement, those aren't really well insulated areas. And in the winters up here in New England, especially after the one we just had in 2015, those really cold nights, I can see me waking up in the morning and seeing a crack go straight down this. And I'm disappointed to say about a Spyderco product, but I don't think I would buy this again. I wouldn't. Spyderco has let me down on this. Really has, guys, and that hurts. That hurts a lot to think Spyderco has let me down on one of their products. Anyway, thanks for watching. Follow us on Instagram at Tolnick Tools. And yeah, just thanks for watching, guys. I'm sorry to disappoint those who thought this would be a cool review, but no, the Spyderco sharpmaker has let me down. It really, really has. Well, as always, have a good night or a good morning. Or a good day whenever you're watching this.